I poisoned my mother's favorite rose with a truth serum I bought off the dark web. Watching her spill every filthy secret she'd buried for decades right there at the dinner table. Her words slicing deeper than any knife ever could. My father laughed at first, thinking it was a joke, until she confessed how he'd framed me for his embezzlement scheme back when I was 22, costing me 5 years in a white-collar hellhole that no one talks about. And me? I just sat there, smiling like the dutiful daughter. Because tonight wasn't about forgiveness, it was about the villa keys in my pocket and the guest list that would burn their world to ash. I never thought I'd end up here, staring out at the Pacific from my own slice of paradise. But life in America has a way of twisting you until you're unrecognizable. My name's Cora, and if you think this is some feel-good rags-to-riches tale, think again. It's the kind of story that keeps you up at night, wondering if revenge is justice or just another poison you swallow yourself. Born in a dusty suburb of Phoenix, Arizona, where the sun scorches your dreams before they can take root, I grew up in a house that looked perfect from the outside. 2-car garage, white picket fence, parents who volunteered at church bake sales. But inside, it was a pressure cooker of lies. The kind that simmers until it explodes. My folks, Richard and Elaine Hargrove, were the epitome of middle-class aspiration gone sour. Dad was a mid-level exec at a Phoenix bank, the sort who wore polyester ties and quoted Reagan like gospel. Mom played the homemaker role to perfection, but her real talent was manipulation, whispering doubts into your ear until you questioned your own shadow. They raised me and my brother,
Tommy.
To believe success was a straight line: college,
Job.
marriage,
Repeat.
no detours, no questions. But Tommy, he was the golden boy. Captain of the football team, straight-A slacker who charmed his way out of trouble.
Me?
I was the grinder, the one who skipped parties to study accounting at ASU, dreaming of Wall Street while they mocked my bookish ways. It started cracking when I was 22. Fresh out of school, I landed a junior analyst gig at a boutique firm in Scottsdale, nothing flashy. But it paid the bills and let me breathe away from home. Dad's bank was struggling. He'd been skimming from client accounts to fund his gambling habit. Horse races mostly. The kind you bet on at off-track betting parlors in Vegas. He needed a fall guy. And who better than his overachieving daughter? The one with a clean record and no alibi because she worked late every night? One Tuesday, the feds raided my apartment. Evidence? Forged emails from my work account. Transfers routed through my login. They had me dead to rights, or so it seemed. I spent 5 years in federal prison, a women's facility upstate New York. The kind where the food tastes like regret and the guards look the other way for a price. White collar, they call it, like it's a spa retreat. Bullshit. I shared a cell with women who'd clawed their way up from nothing only to get crushed by the system, drug mules for cartel bosses, secretaries who cooked books for mobbed-up CEOs. We traded stories like contraband cigarettes, hardening each other against the world. Tommy visited once, his face pale under that Arizona tan, mumbling apologies scripted by Mom. It's a misunderstanding.
Cora.
Dad's got a lawyer.
Lies.
I knew it even then. The way his eyes darted like he was reading from cue cards. They didn't fight the charges. Dad quietly paid restitution from some anonymous donor, his poker buddies. Probably, and the case closed with me as the scapegoat. When I got out at 27, parole hearing smelling like bought influence, they threw a welcome-home barbecue. Burgers on the grill. Neighbors clapping me on the back, like I'd just returned from a semester abroad. No mention of the trial. The appeals I filed pro se from a library with barred windows. I rebuilt in silence. Landed a remote gig with a fintech startup in San Francisco. Ironic, right? Crunching numbers for apps that promised financial freedom while I couch-surfed in Oakland, dodging bill collectors. The betrayal festered, but I channeled it. Late nights coding side hustles, flipping distressed properties in the Bay Area's overheated market. By 30, I'd parlayed a $50,000 loan, mine, not theirs, into a portfolio that turned heads. Real estate became my weapon. Scout foreclosures, renovate with sweat equity, sell to tech bros who overpaid for ocean views. Last year, I closed on this villa in Malibu, a 7-bedroom sprawl on Pacific Coast Highway. Glass walls framing the waves. Infinity pool that cost more than my parents' house. $6 million. Cash from escrow. No mortgage. No mercy.
They didn't know about it.
I'd cut contact after that barbecue. Blocking numbers. Dodging holiday cards with passive-aggressive notes about forgiving and forgetting. Tommy married some sorority girl from Tempe. Popped out a kid. Posted sun-drenched family pics on Instagram like a Hallmark ad. Dad retired early on a pension that shouldn't have existed. Mom joined a book club, dissecting thrillers about unfaithful wives while pretending her own sins were footnotes. I watched from afar, a ghost in their feeds, plotting. The housewarming was my Trojan horse. Or maybe Pandora's box. Pick your poison. It started innocent enough, a save-the-date email blast to my extended family. Not blood relatives, God.
No.
The ones who'd stood by me in the pen. The colleagues who'd vouched for my character during parole. The real estate sharks who'd mentored me through shark-infested deals. Ex-cons from my unit. Now sober baristas in Brooklyn. A queer couple from the Bay who'd housed me post-release. Even my PO. Grizzled and straight shooting. Who texted back. Hell yeah.
Kid.
About time. 200 RSVPs. A mix of tattooed survivors and Silicon Valley suits. All converging on my cliffside kingdom for a weekend of celebration. But the hook? I invited the neighbors first. Malibu's elite. The ones with private helipads and agents on speed dial. Then the press. A whisper to Variety about a rags-to-riches soiree hosted by ex-con turned mogul. By the time the invites hit my parents' inbox, yeah, I unblocked them for this. They'd see the headlines. Cora Hargrove's Revenge Gala, from prison cell to Pacific Palace. I pictured Mom's Botoxed face crumpling over her iPad in that cookie-cutter condo they'd downsized to in Scottsdale. The night before the party, I drove down PCH in my restored '67 Mustang. Top down. Wind whipping my hair like freedom's revenge. The villa loomed like a glass leviathan. Solar panels glinting under the setting sun. I'd hired a planner from LA, minimalist decor. Fairy lights strung like spiderwebs. A caterer slinging craft cocktails named after betrayals. The backstabber, mezcal sour. The frame job, bourbon neat. No expense spared. This wasn't a party, it was a reckoning. As guests trickled in Friday evening, the air buzzed with that electric undercurrent of shared secrets. Maria, my cellie from the joint, hugged me fierce, her arms inked with roses that hid track marks. You did it, chica. They can't touch this. We cracked a bottle of Veuve on the deck, toasting to the women we'd buried inside those walls. Then came the tech crowd. Vikram, the VC who'd bankrolled my first flip, toasting with a Negroni, eyes on the horizon like he owned the sea. Laughter echoed off the bluffs, mingling with the crash of waves, raw, unfiltered joy that felt foreign after years of guarded whispers. Saturday dawned hazy. the kind of California fog that clings like doubt. By noon, the valet line snaked down the drive. Bentleys nosing against my gravel. The PO showed up in a Hawaiian shirt, nursing a beer and swapping war stories with Maria about the system's underbelly. A string quartet played Bowie covers on the lawn, ironic and sharp. I floated through it all in a black silk jumpsuit, hair loose, feeling like a queen surveying her conquered realm. But under the glamour, tension coiled. I'd leaked their flight details to a PI buddy. Mom and Dad were en route from Phoenix. Tickets comped by a mysterious benefactor.
Me?
Of course. They'd arrive at LAX, chauffeured to the gate crash of their lives. Word spread like wildfire on socials. Cora Villa went viral by aperitivo hour, grainy TikToks of the poolside DJ spinning trap remixes of Family Affair, influencers posing with the view. Captioning from bars to beachfront. Who's the real criminal here? TMZ picked it up. Drones buzzing overhead for B-roll. I didn't stop them. Let the world watch. They pulled up at dusk, the town car crunching to a halt amid the throng. Mom emerged first, pearls clutched like a lifeline, her bob haircut defying the salt air. Dad behind her, paunch straining his polo, face thunderous. Guests parted like the Red Sea, whispers rippling. That's them, the ones who. I met them at the steps, flute in hand, smiles sharp as shattered glass. Welcome to the housewarming, I said, voice honey over venom. Glad you could make it after all. Family sticks together. Right? Mom's eyes darted, taking in the crowd, ex-felons toasting with venture capitalists, a tattooed bartender slinging shots to a former judge who'd overseen my appeal. Dad cleared his throat, that banker bluster kicking in. Cora, this is excessive. We came to talk, not to this circus. Excessive. I laughed. Low and genuine. You mean like pinning your crimes on your daughter? Like letting her rot while you cashed in? The quartet faltered. Heads turned. Maria sidled up, arm linked in mine. A silent sentinel. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Darling, that's ancient history. Water under the bridge. Not for me, I replied, gesturing to the villa. This is what I built from your rubble.
Come.
Have a drink. The Rose Estevine. We herded them inside, the crowd closing ranks like a jury. In the great room, walls of windows framing the darkening sea, I raised a toast. To betrayals that forge empires and the fools who think blood excuses everything. Glasses clinked, but the air thickened, controversy brewing like a storm off the coast. That's when the first flip happened. Tommy arrived late, kid in tow, wife trailing with that sorority smile frozen. He'd been radio silent, but I'd invited him to curiosity, or maybe masochism. He cornered me in the kitchen, voice a hiss. Cease. What the hell? Mom's having a meltdown. This isn't you, isn't it? I poured him a scotch.
Neat.
Or is it the version you helped bury? His face crumpled. I was a kid.
Cora.
Dad made me sign those affidavits. Said it'd protect the family. Protect? You testified I was always rebellious. That sealed it. The words hung, bitter as the liquor. He deflated, kid tugging at his pant leg, oblivious. For a split second, pity flickered my nephew, innocent in this web. But revenge doesn't negotiate. As night fell, the party pulsed harder, bonfire on the beach. Guests roasting marshmallows over flames that danced like accusations. Dad pulled me aside by the pool, water lapping like a guilty conscience. You want money? Is that it? Name your price. I stared at him, the man who'd taught me to balance checkbooks, now haggling my soul. Price? You think this is transactional? I bore your sins.
Dad.
The audits, the whispers, the job offers that dried up because Hargrove's a crook's daughter. While you golfed in Scottsdale. He shifted, eyes evasive. It was a mistake. Heat of the moment. The bank was folding. Mistake. My voice rose, drawing stares. 5 years isn't a mistake. It's a sentence. A guest, Vikram, clapped slowly from the shadows. A ripple of applause following. Polarizing.
Yeah.
Some nodded, others averted eyes, uncomfortable with the raw edge of American grit.
Mom.
Ever the strategist, flipped next. Over dessert, key lime pie spiked with that dark web serum. Odorless and fast-acting, she cornered Tommy's wife in the powder room, spilling in slurred confessions. I did it for him. For all of us. Cora was too ambitious.
Too.
Unladylike. Better she take the fall than ruin the family name. The wife bolted out,
Pale.
dragging Tommy and the kid toward the valet. Chaos erupted. Shouts. A shattered flute. The DJ cutting to silence. But Dad? He didn't confess. Not yet. Instead, he rallied, that old moxie surfacing. He grabbed the mic from the MC, voice booming over the speakers. Folks, my daughter's achieved something remarkable. But let's not rewrite history. She made choices, greedy ones. We stood by her, even when it cost us. Lies. Polished like his wingtips. Gasps rippled. A few clapped. The conservative holdouts in the crowd buying the spin. Maria lunged forward, but I held her back. Let him squirm in his own noose. The serum hit Mom mid-speech, her words tumbling out in a torrent. Richard framed her. The emails, I typed them myself, from her laptop while she slept at her house. To save our retirement, our reputation. The room froze, then exploded, phones out, recording every syllable. Dad's face drained of color. He staggered back, knocking over a tiki torch that sputtered flames across the deck. No one burned, but the symbolism?
Chef esquisse.
I watched it unfold, heart pounding like the bass from earlier. This was the climax. The revenge I'd scripted in countless sleepless nights. But as guests divided, some cheering my justice, others muttering about family laundry aired too publicly, doubt crept in. Was I the hero? Or just another Hargrove, wielding power like a weapon? Tommy's kid wailed from the car, a sound that pierced cleaner than any confession. By midnight, the cops showed anonymous tip, probably Dad's doing. Not for arson, for the serum. Illegal as hell. Uniforms swarmed the beach, flashlights cutting the dark. Mom babbled to an officer. Dad lawyered up on the spot, flashing a card from some Phoenix firm.
Me.
I stood tall, villa lights haloing me like a fallen angel. Ask them about the embezzlement, I said coolly. Exhibit A, my rap sheet. They cuffed no one that night, statements taken, warnings issued, but the damage? Irreversible. TMZ ran loops by dawn. Hargrove family implodes at Malibu Bash, prison past or parental plot. My phone blew up, agents calling, book deals floated, haters demanding death threats. Polarizing perfection. Sunday brunch was subdued. Stragglers nursing hangovers on the terrace. Tommy lingered. Kid napping inside. You win, Cora, he said, voice hollow. But at what cost? I sipped coffee. Waves mocking below. The cost of silence. You chose sides once. Pick better next time. He left without goodbye. Tires spinning gravel. Mom and Dad vanished pre-dawn. Flight to Phoenix booked on my dime.
No επάλεγεις.
Just a text from Mom. We love you. Always have.
Love.
The ultimate betrayal. As the last guest hugged farewell, Maria pulled me close. Proud of you,
Boss.
but don't let it eat you alive. I nodded, but inside, the villa felt emptier. Echoes of laughter fading like sea foam. Revenge tasted sweet at first, rose and reckoning but lingered bitter. A question mark on the horizon. Was it worth it? Hell yes. Or maybe no. You decide. The fog lifted by noon, but the haze in my head stuck around like cheap tequila. I wandered the villa's empty halls, bare feet on cool marble, tracing the arc of what I'd unleashed. Sunlight poured through the clear-story windows, gilding the abstract prints I'd hung, warped faces from a Brooklyn street artist, all eyes and accusation. 6 million for the sanctuary, and it already felt like a cage. My phone vibrated incessantly, notifications from Cora Villa trending. A mix of feminist fist pumps and pearl-clutching op-eds decrying vindictive millennial excess. America loves a spectacle, especially when it's laced with schadenfreude. I poured a black coffee in the kitchen, sub-zero fridge humming like a judgmental ant, and scrolled the fallout. TMZ had escalated. Exclusive. Audio of Mom's prison plot confession leaks. Is Cora Hargrove the victim or vigilante? The clip was grainy. Mom's voice slurring over pie crust. But damning. Shares hit 6 figures. My follower count spiked from obscurity to influencer purgatory. Vikram texted. You're a brand now.
Cora.
Let's talk Series A. Tempting. But brands get bought out. I wanted unfiltered power. A knock echoed from the foyer, sharp. Insistent. Not guests, the cleanup crew was scheduled for Tuesday. I padded over, peering through the peephole at a suit, mid-40s. Salt and pepper hair. Badge glinting on his belt. FBI.
Shit.
The embezzlement angle? They'd sniff it like blood in the water. MS. Hargrove, Special Agent Harlan Reyes. Mind if we chat? His voice was neutral. That fed monotone trained to disarm. I cracked the door, leaning casual. About the party? Or the family reunion gone wrong? He flashed a smile.
Not these. Both.
Actually. Stepdaughter of a suspect in a cold case from '08. Mind if I come in?
Suspect.
The word landed like a gut punch. I waved him to the living room, ocean view mocking us both. He perched on the edge of a sectional that cost more than his yearly salary, flipping open a leather folio. Photos spilled out, grainy surveillance stills of Dad outside a Phoenix ATM. Time-stamped 2007. Richard Hargrove. Your father. We think he was the inside man on a string of bank jobs, low-level, but sloppy. Ties to organized betting rings in Vegas. I sank into the armchair opposite, pulse steadying. And me? You think I knew? Reyes shrugged. All folksy. You were 22. Clean record then. But after your stint, questions linger. That villa didn't buy itself.
Ah,
The American dream's dark underbelly. Success breeds suspicion. Parole terms. No finances discussed. But yeah, I know about the gambling. Saw the chits in his desk as a kid. Why now? He tapped a photo, me. Younger. Leaving the courthouse post-sentencing. Tip came in last night.
is that so?
But detailed. Mention the party. The confessions. We're reopening Hargrove's file. My mind raced.
Anonymous tip. Dad.
Flipping the script again. Dragging me back into his muck.
Or Mom.
Desperate to deflect? The serum's aftereffects. Maybe paranoia as a chaser. Look, agent. I serve my time for a screw-up. If you've got dirt, dig it up. But leave my beach out of it. Reyes leaned in, eyes sharp. This isn't just about him.
Cora.
It's about patterns. Families like yours, Phoenix suburbs. Church on Sundays. Crimes on Mondays. Ever wonder why you took the fall? Every damn day. But admitting that? Amateur hour. Wondered. Then I built this. I gestured wide, encompassing the sprawl. He chuckled.
Dry.
Packing his folio. Impressive. But watch your back. Snitches get stitches, or in your case, subpoenas. He left a card, sauntered out to a black SUV that screamed taxpayer dollars. I bolted the door, adrenaline surging. Flip number 2, the feds circling, courtesy of my own blood. By afternoon, I needed air. Cranked the Mustang, blasted Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks wailing about Silver Springs and Lost Lovers, and tore down PCH towards Santa Monica. The coast highway's a therapy session on wheels, cliffs dropping to turquoise. Surfers dotting waves like specks of defiance. I pulled into a pier lot, sand gritty underfoot, and called the one person who'd get it without judgment. Lena, my Bay Area realtor mentor. The queer half of that couple who'd housed me. Cora, saw the clips. You're a goddamn legend. Her voice crackled warm over Bluetooth. Wind noise from her end suggesting a hike. Legend or liability? Feds just knocked. Silence. Then a bark of laughter. Knew it. Your old man's got 9 lives. What's the play? We met at a shack selling fish tacos, greasy perfection wrapped in foil. Eaten on splintered picnic tables. Lena, all cargo shorts and buzz cut, hugged me like a lifeline. Her wife.
Ja.
Waved from the car. Kiddo in tow. Spill, Lena said, lime squeezing tart into the air. I did. From the serum stunt to Reyes' visit. She listened, nodding slow. Classic deflection. He's flipping you under the bus to save his ass. But here's the twist. Use it. Go public. Podcast. Substack. Monetize the mess. America's addicted to true crime with a redemption arc. Monetize. The word slithered. Seductive. I'd built my empire on flips, houses, deals, narratives. Why not this? And if it blows back? Tommy's kid. Lena's eyes softened. Collateral. Sucks. But that's the game. You gonna let them rewrite you again?
No.
Hell no. We plotted over second tacos, a tell-all thread on X. Timed for evening commute doom scroll. I drove back golden hour gilded, posting from the villa's deck as the sun dipped blood orange. Thread, how my parents framed me for embezzlement and why I threw the party of the century. 147th. Details poured. Forged emails. Tommy's testimony. The serum as catharsis. No holds barred. Screenshots redacted for legalese. Retweets ignited. Activists hailing prison abolition icon. Trolls dubbing me karma's bitch. Dad called at 9 p.m. Number spoofed. I answered. Speakerphone echoing off glass. Cora, take it down. You're destroying us. Us?
You mean you.
Mom's spilling to the Inquirer already.
I bet.
A pause. Ragged breath. It wasn't just me. Tommy knew, helped wire the funds. Thought it was alone. Twist 3. Brother dearest. Complicit. My grip tightened on the phone. Blood's thicker.
Huh.
Enjoy the subpoenas. I hung up. Heart a war drum. Sleep evaded. I paced the master suite. King bed mocking my solitude.
Ensuite tub steaming and used.
Dawn broke gray. Rain pattering rare on the roof, a SoCal omen. Coffee in hand, I fielded calls. A producer from Hulu sniffing a docuseries. My lawyer warning of defamation suits. Fight fire with fire, he said. Sue for wrongful conviction.
Souhait.
The idea bloomed. Vicious and viable. By 10 a.m., filings drafted, class action vibes, pulling in other fall guys from Dad's era. Maria texted from Brooklyn. On a plane. Backups here. Loyalty. The real kind. The afternoon brought uninvited guests. Tommy. Unannounced. Pounding the door like Judgment Day. I let him in. Rain-slicked and wild-eyed. No kid this time. It's unraveling.
Cora.
Dad's talking plea, naming names, including yours. Says you orchestrated the tip to the feds.
Me?
The accusation stung, flipping the narrative into absurdity. Orchestrated? I invited you to celebrate, not confess. But keep lying, it suits you. He collapsed on the couch, head in hands. I was scared. Dad had debts, sharks from Vegas. He said one signature, and it'd be fine. I signed. For Mom. For the baby on the way back then. Humanizing. Dangerous. I poured him water, sitting across like interrogators do. And my 5 years? Your testimony? Regret. Every day. Tears tracked.
Genuine.
For a beat. The room softened, siblings in ruins. Villa a neutral ground. But then, help us. Pull the thread. We can fix this as family. Family. The word soured.
Fix?
Like you fix me into prison blues. He flinched. You're better than this. Am I? I stood. Voice steel. Get out.
Tommy.
Before I add perjury to the list. He left defeated. Rain swallowing his taillights. Alone again. I cracked the serum vial, leftover. Glowing faintly under fluorescence. Temptation whispered. Dose myself. Unearth my own buried shames.
But no.
Revenge demanded clarity. Evening brought the storm's peak. Thunder rumbling like applause. Lightning etching the sea in silver. I hosted a war council on Zoom. Maria, Lena, Vikram, even Reyes dialing in off record. Cooperation, he offered. Testify. Get immunity. Immunity. Freedom's counterfeit. On one condition, full probe. No slaps on wrists.
Deal.
His nod sealed it. Flips cascading like dominoes. By midnight, the thread updated. Twist, Fed's reopening case. Justice? Or just another flip? Engagement soared. Debates fracturing feeds, Team Cora versus Family First, America picking sides in real time. I crashed hard. Dreams a montage of cuffs and cocktails. Woke to sun-piercing clouds. The villa reborn in light. But peace? Fleeting. A package waited on the stoop. Manila envelope. No return. Inside, Dad's suicide note. Scrawled desperate. Forgive me. Couldn't face the cage. Pills scattered. Empty bottle beside.
No.
Twist 4, his ultimate flip. Martyring himself to paint me the villain. Autopsy pending. But whispers already. Pushed too far by daughter's vendetta. Guilt crashed like the tide had I. Press swarmed the gates by noon. Drones whirring. Tommy called. Sobbing, he's gone. Because of you. Because of us. But words failed. I retreated to the balcony. Wind salty and accusatory. Staring at waves that erased nothing. Revenge's high faded to hollow. Was this victory? Or just another sentence? The memorial service was a farce. Held in a Scottsdale chapel that reeked of incense and hypocrisy. I flew commercial, coach. Deliberate to Phoenix. Landing under a sky bruised purple. The desert heat a slap after Malibu's caress. Tommy met me at baggage. Hollow-cheeked. Suit rumpled like his resolve. No hug, just a nod. The kid absent. Mercifully spared. Mom's inside, he muttered. Steering the rental toward the chapel. Silence stretched. AC blasting cold against the tension. Elaine Hargrove, widow now, perched in the front pew. Veil, translucent. Hands folded like prayer. But her eyes? Steel. Appraising me as I slid in beside her. You came, she said. Voice a whisper shiv. After everything. After his note?
Yeah.
I kept it low. Organ droning, amazing grace in the background. Mourners filing in, bank colleagues with crocodile tears.
Pulka finding shock.
No feds. Reyes had pulled surveillance. Giving space for grief. The service blurred, eulogies painting Dad as the flawed provider. A man who gave everything for his family. Tommy choked through his voice cracking on loving father, avoiding my gaze. I sat stone-faced. The serum's echo tempting. Dose her now. Mid him? But no. This was theater. And I played the grieving daughter to perfection. After. At the graveside under creosote bushes. Dirt clods thudding like accusations. Mom pulled me aside. Wind whipped her veil. She clutched my arm. Nails digging. He didn't mean it, the note. It was for show. Pressure from your
Spectacle. Show?
The word ignited. Suicide as strategy? Classy.
Mom.
Like framing your kid? Her lips thinned. You think you're clean? That party, drugs. Assault allegations from your guests. Cops are coming for you next. Flip 5. Deflection dialed to 11. Assault? Maria's rowdy crew. Maybe a scuffle over spilled secrets. Drugs? The serum. Anonymous source. She was weaving a counter-narrative. Victimizing the victimizer. I yanked free. Dust swirling. Keep digging your hole. I'll bring the shovel. Tommy intercepted as I stalked to the car.
Wait.
She's broken.
Cora.
Dad's dead. Vegas loan sharks. They torched our garage last week. This. He waved at the casket. Escape. Empathy warred with rage. Shark's eye ignored.
Fallou de accelerata.
Then fight. With me. Sue the bank. Expose the ring. He shook his head. eyes pleading. Too late. Mom's selling the story, tell-all interview with 60 Minutes. Daughter's revenge killed my husband. The drive to the airport was a blur. Monsoon threatening. Wipers slashing rain. Back in Malibu. The villa welcomed me cool and indifferent. Pool water still as glass. I poured a bourbon Maker's Mark. Dad's brand. Irony neat and scrolled the feeds. Mom's camp had leaked the note. Edited. Cora's hatred. Unbearable. Hashtags shifted. Justice for Richard trending. My threads buried under sympathy's spam. Reyes called at dusk. Voice grim.
Autopsie suicide. Clean.
But whispers of coercion. Your mother's lawyered up, aggressive. Coercion? From me. Outrage boiled. Not saying that. But optics. Bad. Pull back.
Cora.
Let the case breathe.
Breathe.
As if revenge held air. I hung up, pacing the deck. Waves a relentless underscore. Polarization peaked. Petitions for my arrest. GoFundMe's for Mom's trauma fund. Vikram emailed, stepping back. Investors spooked. Loss stacked like cordwood. Empire teetering on scandal's edge. Maria arrived midnight, banging the door with bodega bags. Empanadas. Cheap wine. Fuck M, she declared, sprawling on the couch. We burn it down together. We did. In a way. Over vino. Stories spilled. Her cartel days. My cell block nights. Twist's always the mirror, she said. See your own monster. Monster. The word lingered as she crashed in a guest room. Dawn brought clarity. Counterstrike. I lawyered harder. Defamation suit against Mom. Class action expansion to Vegas rings. Lena looped in a crisis PR whiz. Lean in. Docuseries pitch. Framed. A daughter's reckoning. Production started swift. Cameras in the villa. Me narrating from the balcony. Voice steady over B-roll of the party chaos. This isn't revenge. It's reclamation. But was it? Clips dropped. Reigniting Team Cora. Debates fractured dinner tables nationwide. Fox calling me ruthless opportunist. MSNBC survivor saint. Mom's 60 Minutes aired mid-filming. Tear-streaked. She flipped again. I typed those emails.
Yes.
But Cora knew encouraged it. For the thrill. She's the gambler. Not Richard. Lies. But slick. Producer polished. Rating soared. My suit hit roadblocks. Her team countersuing for emotional distress. Tommy mediated via text. She's cracking. Meet. We did. Neutral ground. A Denny's off I-10. Fluorescent hell. He slid in opposite.
Coffee black.
No sugar. Mom absent. Too fragile. Dad's will, he said, pushing an envelope. Villa's yours, contingent on dropping everything.
Bait.
I scanned the pages. Codicil buried. Tying my inheritance to silence. Blackmail now? Classy. Not me. Her idea. His shoulders slumped. But take it. For the kid. Uncle's a hero in his book. The kid. Innocent shrapnel. I pocketed it. Standing. Tell her, war's on. Back home. Storm raging. I shredded the will, confetti for the wind. Cameras rolled as lightning cracked. Final twist. They think they own me still. Viral gold. But solitude gnawed post-rap. Maria left for shifts. Lena's calls turned business. One night, serum vial in hand, I stared at the mirror, eyes hollow. Lines etching early. Dose? Truth's double edge. Instead, I flushed it. Porcelain swallowing secrets. Reyes updated. Arrests pending. Dad's old crew. Mom as accessory. Your tip sealed it, he said. No, her confessions. My pressure. She called next. Voice shattered.
Cora. Please.
The sharks, they're after Tommy now. Flip 6. Plea from the queen of schemes. Why me? Because you're all I have left. Lies or fracture. I hung up. Dialing Tommy. Get the kid safe. Feds incoming.
He did.
Vanishing to a safe house. Mom surrendered Dawn. Cuffs clicking in leaked footage, head high, but eyes defeated. Charges, fraud, obstruction.
No bail.
The villa quieted. Guests gone. Echoes fading. I hosted a solo brunch on the deck, avocado toast. Mimosa fizzing alone. Waves whispered absolution. Or accusation. Twists end. Victory.
Pyrrhic.
Empire intact. But family ash. Happy? Tragic? You argue it over brunch. Sunrise painted the Pacific gold. But my world stayed monochrome. The villa, once a beacon, loomed like a monument to madness, glass walls reflecting a woman I'd barely recognize, Cora Hargrove, architect of ashes. Mom's arrest dominated feeds, perp walk glamour shots. Pundits parsing the fall of the all-American fraud. Hargrove saga peaked. Memes morphing from schadenfreude to somber. Dad's ghost haunting every frame.
Tommy surfaced via encrypted app, safe with sex.
Kid asks for Aunt Cora. Heart twist. The soft kind. I flew east incognito, hoodie. No makeup, landing in a Newark drizzle that matched my mood. The safe house was a nondescript split level in Jersey suburbs, chain link and cul-de-sac bland. Tommy answered, stubble shadowing his jaw.
Kid, little Jack.
For now, clinging to his leg like a koala. Auntie Co. Jack beamed, oblivious, hugging my knees. I scooped him, burying nose in his curls, baby shampoo and crayons. Purity scent. We played Legos on the carpet while Tommy brewed weak coffee. Mom's talking deal, he said low. Full confession for leniency. Names you as co-conspirator. Again, the flip-weary machine ground on. Let her. Evidence clears me. He nodded, but doubt flickered. Reyes pulled me in yesterday. Wanted dirt on you. Said patterns suggest deeper play.
Deeper.
The word chilled. I'd flipped properties. Lives. Narratives but myself. And scathed, Jack built a tower. Toppling it with glee.
Boom.
Like your party. Tommy winced. Not now. But I laughed. Genuine kid logic cutting the rot. We talked late. Pizza boxes piling. His regrets. My rebuilds. I envied you, he admitted. Voice fearless. The drive. Dad always said I was the lucky one. But you were steel. Steel bends. Join the flip.
Tommy.
Invest in my next coastal eco-resort. Clean money. He eyed me wary. After this? After all we got. Dawn broke. I left with a finger-painted love you card. Jack waving from the stoop. Back west. The Mustang purred redemption, top down. Wind exorcising ghosts. Vikram reconciled over Zoom. Docuseries greenlit. Lead producer, you. Fame's double blade. Checks cleared. But shadows lengthened. PR was coached. Own the controversy. TED Talk vibe, betrayal as catalyst. I did. Stages from South by Southwest to Aspen. Spotlights hot. Crowds wrapped. America sells the dream. But who pays the bill? Q&S sparked brawls, activists cheering, tradcons booing. Polarizing pinnacle. Mom's trial hit summer swelter. Phoenix courtroom a pressure cooker. I testified remote. Villa backdrop framing my poise. She typed the emails. I bore the sentence. Cross-exam grilled. Isn't this payback? Hemis. Hargrove, the party, the serum, vigilantism. Vindication, I countered. Unflinching. Jury split, deadlock mistrial. Hung on reasonable doubt about intent. Media frenzy. Justice denied. Hargrove matriarch walks. She didn't. Retrial loomed, but flips accelerated. Her lawyer defected. Spilling plea docs. Full exposure Vegas ties. Tommy's wire. Even a side hustle fencing artifacts from Arizona digs. Mom cracked pre-second round. Deal-linked. 10 years. Supermax. Visitation day. I went. Chain-link partitions. Her orange jumpsuit clashing with pearls she'd smuggled. Cora. Voice frail, but eyes scheming. Help me. Appeal.
No.
Simple. Final. You built this cage. She leaned close. Glass fogging. Then why visit?
Guilt.
Closure.
Lie.
Truth? Her laugh cackled.
Broken.
We're the same survivors. I stood. Chair scraping. Not anymore.
Outside.
Desert sun baked the lot. I drove aimless. Radio blasting Springsteen, boss howling Thunder Road, escape anthem. Tommy met me at a roadside diner. Booths cracked vinyl. She called. Begged. Irrelevant. I stirred sweet tea. Ice clinking. Your move.
Bro.
Resort or rot. He signed papers that night, silent partner. Fresh start. Jack visited the villa weekends. Kiddie pool splashes. Bedtime stories of Auntie's big house. Family. Redefined. But twists linger. Reyes closed the case fall. Indictments rippling bank VPs. Shark lieutenants.
Me?
Cleared. But whispers. She played them all. A tabloid drop. Anonymous source claiming serum overdose killed dad.
Poison?
No, his choice.
But doubt seeds.
Docuseries premiered Emmy season. Raw. Riveting. Critics raved, gripping ambiguity. Audiences argued at water coolers. Who's the villain?
Me?
Them? The system? Post-premiere party in Hollywood. Velvet ropes. Flashbulbs. I slipped out early. Mustang waiting. PCH at midnight. Stars pricking black. Waves eternal. Pulled over at a bluff. Flask of bourbon warming palms. Revenge's ledger. Villa mine.
Scars theirs. But the mirror?
Cracked still. Jack's drawing taped to the dash. Happy & Co. Reminder. Some flips heal. Ending? You call it. I drive on. Horizon endless.